Today I'll teach you how to populate repeater control using DataTable in ASP.NET. So let's start. This is my web.config file in which already I have added a connection string. As you can see, I am connected to the Northwind database. On the right hand side, you will see a link to the video which explains how to download and install Northwind database. So now the connection string is ready. Let's move to the ASPX page. I'll start by adding a repeater control. Now I will explain you some basic information that this particular repeater control will display data in HTML table format, and hence I am making use of a HTML table element inside the header template. As you can see, I am making use of header template to define the columns for the HTML table. I would like to explain you that a repeater control consists of three elements: header template, and there is a item template, and there is a footer template. Header template, as the name suggests, remains on top. In between comes the item template, which is actually the data which comes from database. And at the end comes the footer template, which, as the name suggests, remains at the bottom. So that's the reason I am putting the table and tag in the footer template. Now little information about the item template. Item template will repeat the data for the repeater. For example, you are getting 10 records from the database table, then it will show the particular element 10 times. For example, here I am adding a table row tr element, and in between I am adding the label elements for the data. So this particular block of HTML code will be repeated 10 times if I am getting 10 records from the database table. Now continuing further, as you can see, I am making use of ASP.NET label controls to bind data from the database. So here I am using eval function, and I am assigning data from the field to the text property of the label. In similar way, for the other two labels, I am doing the same thing. I am assigning the field value using the eval function to the text property of the label. Let's move to the code behind. We'll start by adding some namespaces. So the very first namespace is system.data, then system.data.sql client, and finally system.configuration. Now I am creating a function used to populate repeater control with records from database table. So here I have created a string variable, and inside that I am reading the connection string from the web.config file. I have created an object of SQL connection class, and I have passed the connection string variable to it in the constructor. Next I am creating an object of SQL command class, and I am passing the SQL query and the SQL connection in the constructor. Now I am creating an object of SQL data adapter. Then the SQL command object is assigned to it in the constructor. Now I am creating an object of DataTable, which will be filled using the SQL data adapter. Once the data table is populated with data, it is assigned to the data source property of the repeater, and finally the data bind function is called. Now inside the page load event handler, I am writing the if notice post back condition, and I'll be calling the bind repeater function. So with this we complete our programming part, and now it's time to run our project and see it in action. As you can see, the repeater is populated with data from the data table. Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe, and don't forget to click the bell icon. Goodbye.